Welcome to the Pit Check, your weekly news for the best and heaviest new albums from your favorite extreme metal and hardcore bands. This is one of the best weeks on record for deathcore, slam, and brutal death metal fans. For real, this week is incredible. And don't worry, we've also got some insane new hardcore punk releases, including the resurrection of your favorite band's favorite band. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and let's get right into this week's best and heaviest new albums. This might be the best deathcore album of 2025. The always incredible symphonic deathcore band Shadow of Intent has just released their latest masterpiece of an album titled Imperium Delirium. You love unbelievable and unique guitar riffs and solos, groovy as hell bass, one of the best drummers on the planet, and a vocalist with the voice of a Balrog, you need to listen to this album ASAP. Every time I feel like Shadow of Intent has probably peaked, they somehow climb even higher. This is some of the best songwriting in deathcore, period. This album manages to be mature and technical, while also being their heaviest album to date. This is their classic orchestral and haunting deathcore, with that little bit of sci-fi and dystopian flavoring, but with tons of allusions to real-world events. But this time around, I was surprised to see them incorporate a lot more brutal death metal and even slam influences. And I love how much fun Ben is clearly having showing off those gutturals and pig squeals. For what has been an insane year for deathcore, not only does this break out of the crowd, it somehow stands on top of it. When it comes to album of the year, this is the one to beat. The band Hardcore Dudes Online Wanted to Hate has finally released their debut album. Matty Matheson, the actor best known for his breakout performance on The Bear, has made a ton of waves in the hardcore community, not only by wearing hardcore shirts on The Bear, but also by announcing his brand new old school hardcore band, Pigpen. This is Pigpen's debut album titled Mental Madness. And beyond Matty, the lineup here also includes some really talented instrumentalists. We've got members from Alexis on Fire, Attack in Black, and even Young Gov. So the musicianship on this album ends up being so much better than you would expect from something that could end up being a celebrity band. This is not a hardcore fusion band or a hardcore adjacent project capitalizing on how hot hardcore is right now. This is some raw and kick-ass old school hardcore. This entire album is such a love letter to that East Coast 80s and 90s hardcore punk, and it all hits perfectly. Nasty classic riffs and two-steps, down-tempo breakdowns, group vocals, you name it. Genuinely, I loved this album, and it should come as no surprise that Matty has been kicking around the Ontario hardcore scene since the early 2000s. Like, don't get it twisted, Matty's a real one, and he clearly wanted to put out an album that could stand the test of time. This band rips, and I'm so glad this album is finally out to make all those haters just eat their words. Why does Italy put out some of the best brutal death metal on the planet? The absurdly brutal death metal band Putridity is back with this insane new album titled Morbid Ataraxia. If you love that aggressive and overwhelming, I guess, maximalist death metal, you're gonna love this. I also think this album is really going to resonate with slam and especially grindcore fans. There's just so much controlled chaos, double-time riffs and blasts. This band is like an Italian Greyhound. It's so much faster than you would expect. I loved this album. It's insanely heavy and up-tempo while being extremely technical. And it really goes out of its way to keep things fresh on every song and avoid being repetitive. Definitely check this one out if you love your death metal angry, fast, and aggressive. Deadguy's back from the dead. The legendary 90s New Jersey-based hardcore, mathcore, metalcore band Deadguy is back again after 30 years with this brand new album titled Near Death Travel Services. And I mean it when I say legendary. This band was a key factor in the development of mathcore as a genre. Like, you wouldn't have bands like Dillinger Escape Plan if it wasn't for Deadguy. And now, at like 50-something, they come out of nowhere and just demolish all of these modern bands with this legitimately flawless and timeless new album. I can't believe how much passion and energy there is on this album. It's like they've been bottling it up for 30 years and needed to get it off their chest. And this is so clearly not a nostalgic cash grab. This has so much genuine heart and masterful songwriting. If you love mathcore, hardcore, or old school metalcore, you need to show these dudes some love and check this album out as soon as possible. Do you need some incredible Myspace deathcore and slam? Members from Serration, World of Pleasure, Secret and Whisper, and Mortality Rate have all come together to make this absurdly heavy band, Killing of a Sacred Deer. And this is their latest album, A Visage of a Mangled Body. This band has such a good blend of Myspace deathcore, throwback metallic hardcore, and even beatdown hardcore. If you're a fan of bands like Psycho Frame, A Black Rose Burial, As Blood Runs Black, or Thus Spoke Zarathustra, this is going to be right up your alley. I loved this release, and I couldn't possibly recommend it any higher. This album gives me a true 2025 version of that deathcore that I fell so in love with in 2007. Also, this drummer is unbelievable. I forgot to mention that earlier. Members from It Dies Today and Senses Fail have come together to create this awesome new hardcore band, Frozen Ground. Frozen Ground is an aggressive, old-school, metallic hardcore band that's based out of Buffalo, New York, and this is their debut self-titled EP. If you love that classic New York style of hardcore, lots of badass riffs to two-step to, ripping bass, and absolute concrete brick smashing breakdowns, this is going to be right up your alley. There's also some sick features from Pain of Truth and Missing Link, perfectly hammering down that New York hardcore vibe, but with a more crunchy and metallic edge. This was a short and adrenaline-pumping new release. Definitely check it out if you want 10 minutes of high-energy hardcore punk. Need some Philadelphia deathcore and slam?
You feel lucky to be alive?
The absurdly brutal deathcore and beatdown hardcore crossover project, Whole World Wept, has just released their debut EP titled Scorcher. And what a scorcher it is. This EP is wall-to-wall, bone-crushing breakdowns and gutturals, with a surprising amount of beatdown hardcore and even slam elements, which keeps their sound fresh and keeps you on your toes. I love how fun and self-aware this band is. It never takes itself too seriously, but yet still delivers some really mature and slamming deathcore. This is only a 5-song EP, but it's such a beater. And I'm sure live, this is just gonna destroy some local venues. Do you like your slam and brutal death metal as guttural as possible? The absolutely sludgy new slam band Vile Deformity has just released their debut EP, Forced Conviction. If you love slam, beatdown hardcore, and brutal death metal, bands like Devourment, Abated Mass of Flesh, or Bludgeoned, this band should absolutely be on your radar. This is a short and beefy 4-song EP, but if you like pig squeals and tunnel vocals, down-tempo breakdowns and slams, and just generally low-tuned destruction, definitely check out this new band, Vile Deformity. And here's the list of all of the bands and albums that were released this week, including a lot of the ones that we did not get to cover this week, but there's some great stuff in here. Heaven Shall Burn, if you like some melodic death metal. I wanted to start focusing more on these like underrated and up-and-coming bands, so I didn't cover some of the more heavy hitters on here, but definitely check them out for yourself. And again, thank you for joining me weekly on these album reviews and recommendations. It really means a lot, all the positive feedback you guys have been giving me both on here and on TikTok. So thank you again, and I'll catch you next week for another pit check.